Marques Phillips worked with the Observer-Dispatch as a reporter. You're a journalism major. Marques was part of our project with Utica Daily News and was really one of the cement blocks that kept that whole thing together as long as it was, and now works with the city of Utica.
The county of Oneida.
I did that on purpose. Come on.
Just a friend of the show. I'm just a friend of the show. That's it.
So, on the downtown hospital parking garage, we're close to having this entire thing go away. We're close to MVHS saying we've spent enough. We can't keep spending on this and having this drag out. We're going to back out. We're about to lose the $350 million. What's your take on all of it?
Well, the reason I actually asked to come on and talk about the hospital because, I'm from here, been here for a long time. My daughter's here. I'm 34 years old, been here my whole life. And I watch people leave, and there's a feeling here that it's, that the status quo is all that exists, and it's kind of rotting, and we're a forgotten city.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons we're a forgotten city is because we have a reputation sometimes
of eating our own,
whether it's in Albany or with businesses, of anything we try to do. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a road project or a hospital,
or a Stewart's,
or I could name 10 things right now. I mean, we have a reputation for being a place that's hard to do business, that puts up a lot of red tape, that makes it difficult to invest here. And I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing people leave, and I'm tired of the status quo. So I think it's important that people like myself who are invested in this area stand up and say, look, we're not all like that. Some of us welcome investment in the city.
Yeah.
Some of us want to do better. We have 100-year-old hospitals. I mean, eventually they're going to have to build a new hospital.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was just important to come on and say that.
It is going to cost. There'll be some tax increase on this, on the parking garage. Or maybe there won't be, as Steve DeMayo pointed out, that the city actually will be in better financial shape after this is all done, despite the fact that they're contributing $700,000 a year to the garage. So, but if there was, is it okay to have a little skin in the game as a taxpayer? Would you be okay with that?
Well, first of all, the city's in better financial shape now than it was, and so is the county. And, there's a lot of people involved that think they can do this without increasing taxes for a bunch of reasons I can get into. But, I'm one of these taxpayers, and I might have a different philosophy than most people. Like, sure, like if you got to raise my taxes 1 or 2%, I pay taxes. Then as long as I can see the benefits, if you're making progress and making the city better, then I don't mind. I don't want you just to raise taxes, to give your cousin a job. But if the people of the city of Utica were warned or scared about tax increases because of the road paving plan, and they voted for that plan 3-1.
Yeah.
Because if you show people what you're going to do and you're going to invest, they understand, hey, look, this might cost us money. We hope it doesn't, but we have to invest in ourselves to grow.
Right.
It's just leaving it as is, to me, isn't even an option.
Right. And I do think that, so some of you might say, well, he's working for the county now. What does he have? Why is Marcus's opinion important? Why would you even have Marcus on this topic? And I believe that we've heard from the No Hospital downtown. They're quite vocal. But if I'm officials, if I'm MBHS, if I am Tony Pacini, Anthony Brindisi, Joe Griffo, any of these people that have been for this project, I would be saying, where are the people? Because this never happens, right? We only come out on things we're against. Where are the people that are going to be Marcus and say, you know what? I've had enough. I want this area to move forward. I'm for this. I'm standing up to let people know there are voices out there that are for it, and chances are probably many more people than you would even know that are for it. So for that reason, I think it's important to come out and stick your neck out a little bit. I like that.
And that's why I'm here. I mean, I went door to door this political season for some candidates. One of them's my father, and I talked to people. And when you talk to them, there's a lot they didn't know. And then you can turn them around, or some people are in favor. But I think a lot of times, you're just silent when you're okay with things and they're going okay, and all the energy is in opposition. And that's happened time and time again in this area, and scared away business after project after business. And, with the hospital, it's like, everybody talks about the economic impacts of the hospital, and that's fine. There's a lot of us, including me, that think it'll have a positive economic effect. But really, it's a hospital that they're trying to build. Because if you get shot, or you get in a car accident, or you have some kind of trauma to your head and you're bleeding and you go into the emergency room, they got to triage you, diagnose you, then wheel you, your colostomy bag, your IV bag, all your nurses up to the second floor. Up to the second floor, because there's no operating room in our emergency rooms. If you have a broken leg and the patient next to you has pneumonia, the only thing between the two of you is a curtain, because there's no room dividers.
The other thing that I want to bring up, and I've heard people say that this is not true, is that building a new hospital is not going to attract better talent. That couldn't be further from the truth. Because the hospital is saying, with a new facility, we are going to be able to attract the brightest, the up-and-coming people that would not have considered coming here because of our facilities. So we had many people call in and say, I don't believe that's true. That is ridiculous. And building a new hospital is not going to bring new people in. That is going to work. I'm telling you, if you just graduated college and you put 8 or 10 years of your life into becoming a pediatrician or what have you, and you invested all this money, and you have a chance to go to a place that's old and you got to go from one hospital to the other, or one floor to the other, or you get to go to a brand new facility somewhere, and you have your choice, and you will have your choice. You're going to take the new facility.
Well, just look at any kind of recruiting outside the hospital. If you're recruiting a college athlete and you have a brand new locker room and football field,
right?
I mean, doctors have to be recruited. They're rare, right? They have to be recruited. And by the way,
Syracuse built the Carrier Dome as a recruitment tool.
Right.
It was a great facility. It was awesome and has so many different positives. But it was a recruiting tool for football and basketball.
Big crowds into basketball games. And, like I said, I come from Buffalo. They built their hospital downtown, revitalized the whole medical community down there, gave energy. UB built a med school right next to it. So doctors tell us that it's going to attract professionals, and it might attract professionals, but beyond that, it just allows for better equipment, right? There's literally equipment we can't fit into our hospitals that we know would save lives.
Yeah.
And, I was talking to somebody early on, and they talk about, well, what can you do with the St. Luke's building once that and they brought up a great point about Utica College.
St. Luke's our faction is staying the same. St. Luke's will be
right.
So right next door is Utica College.
The possibilities are endless to then expand the college, which will bring new students and new talent into the area. Period. In general. Yeah. So all around, I think it's going to have the positive effects. Yeah. And it's like I said to you on Friday, Bill. Would you rather have a nice studio in one spot where you do your whole show, or you got to do the first hour and a half here and then go to another studio?
I'm telling you, people who are looking for a job, quality, talented people that are looking to move somewhere, consider the location and the facility they're moving to.
Yes,
absolutely.
Especially if you're bright and you're at the top of your game and you have choices. You're going to go after the best scenario, the best place. Parking garage. The mayor says he'll do $500,000. Bill Morehouse says the city can handle $700,000. Steve DeMeo says that if the city were to come up with the $700,000, that the Kennedy garage will become a part of this whole thing, that the city can afford it. As a matter of fact, might be better off after it's all said and done, which goes back to that point of whether or not taxes would need to be raised. So, do you feel the mayor will step up and do the right thing?
Yeah,
is $700,000 the right thing?
Right. Okay. So when you get to this point that there's $200,000 disagreements between government, I don't want to.
That's an annual number over 30
years. An annual
years.
number. So yeah. I don't want to seem, like I'm dismissing it, but that's not a huge sum of money when you got a $70 million and a $400 million budget. And so I think that they'll be able to find a middle ground in that. It's just going to be some tug and pull.
Andrew and I witnessed at the Pumpkin Patch, the business park, Assemblyman Brindisi and the mayor going back and forth. And really that's what Brindisi said is, listen, we're talking about $200,000 a year. We can close this gap. and the mayor coming back vehemently saying, I am not going to bankrupt my city.
Right. I'm confident that gap will get closed.
You feel that will.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing about that is just people forget, how long have we been talking about downtown parking? Now there's 400 spots that aren't dedicated to the hospitals you could park in downtown, and then there'll be more when the hospital is off peak hours. So, people always talk about the need for downtown parking. Ask the businesses in Franklin Square about the need for downtown parking, and Kennedy Garage gets upgraded. So this is a need for the city, even if there wasn't a hospital. Okay. It just adds to it.
All right, and Marcus is well. Let me take Mike first on the hospital issue. Joe, you're on the air. Good
What's
morning.
up, Joe?
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Listen,
what do you think?
I'm not weighing in on the hospital at this point, but this is what I'm telling you. I don't know if you've ever been involved in physician recruitment, but I have, and I can tell you right now. The facilities themselves really do not play a significant factor when you're attempting to attract physicians.
You don't think that
but that's not accurate.
No, I really disagree with that, Joe.
How many have you recruited? Out of curiosity.
I understand.
Well, doctors have told us different, though. The doctors have told us different. Dr. Kelberman, who does heart surgery here, came in front.
Hold on, Joe. Hold on, let Marcus talk.
But Joe, doctors.
But I'm telling you, let's not start. I don't care if you have personal experience. I have no issue with it.
I do have personal experience based on my own personal experience in looking for a job. And when I look for a job, I consider the facility, Joe, period. I don't have a law office, okay, that my father built. I have to go to a place that is foreign to me. And I'm telling you, I look at the facility. So that's my opinion, Joe, not based on recruiting.
I carry that to physicians, Bill.
Huh?
Because there's a lot more that weighs in with the physicians than
of course there is.
Whether or not they have a place to put them.
As there is, believe me, as there is in any job that I have taken. But I'm telling you, it does play a role. I'm not saying that, believe me, I've taken jobs where they had crap facilities. And as a matter of fact, when it gets hot in here, I don't love this facility. Okay?
Complete different situation.
I understand. I spoke based on my personal experience, Joe, and I do that all the time, and I will continue to do that. And I've not recruited. I've not recruited. So you can add your take and your personal experience to this, and I will respect it. But to say that what I said is absolutely wrong, I disagree with you. I'm sorry.
I didn't say it was absolutely wrong, Bill. I said it did not play.
Hit the daily double on him. We're going to give away $400 now. Yeah. Sorry, Joe.
No, and doctors have told us different. I mean, Dr. Kelberman, who does heart work here, says when he recruits doctors for his group, the facilities are a factor, and it's easier because doctors want to save lives. And if they got the equipment and the facilities to be able to do their job better, they will have better reputations as better doctors. So it has to play a role.
And Joe, have you recruited for a hospital? You say you have recruited for hospitals?
I've been involved in a number of physician recruitments. Okay.
Right. Okay. Listen,
I can't really go too much farther, but
I'm assuming
that has never been a significant factor when it comes to the rejection of whatever offers being made.
Okay,
Joe. On the contrary, seeing a facility like St. E's, just because it's so old, you don't think that's a reason people would say, this might not be the right opportunity.
Look, I'm not saying we don't need a new hospital. My point is that you guys are making it sound like, you're building a baseball stadium and the best hitters are going to come to play. That's not that might have some bearing, but
that is what I said. It does have something to do with it. I didn't say I didn't say Derek Jeter is going to come and play for us. Now, I didn't say that. But to say that it doesn't have any bearing at all is false, Joe. I don't believe that.
I say it didn't have any bearing? No, so stop putting words in my mouth.
Hit him again with that daily double.
We're up to $800.
We're up to $800. Where is it now? For God's sakes. All right, Joe. Thank you.
Is it up to $800 now?
Yeah, it's terrible, Joe. The more you go, the harder it gets. I would love to have you on tomorrow. And I know this listen.
I'm not getting lost in the weeds on this thing, Bill.
Okay.
The reality is, I just think there needs to be more clarity and more information. That's all.
I would love to have you on tomorrow to talk about the procedure of the situation down there in German Flats. I know aren't privy to the whole thing, but I know they're going to the appellate court. We're talking about the Jaquish family. And I do wonder if they're arguing the wrong case. And I'd love to talk to you more about that and have you on tomorrow just to talk about what it's like when you go forward. And the people are saying, boy, we can't talk. We haven't been able to speak to a single court proceeding. I'd love to talk to you about that, not specifically on the case, but on procedure tomorrow if you're available, okay?
Sounds good.
I have to go, Joe. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right. Wow.
Whoa.
No, and also, by the way, I don't know if people know, Masonic Research Lab, which is the big lab around here, they're talking about being at the hospital.
There's a lot to. I want to get into more of this,
right.
but I want to, while I have you here, and not just because you're black, but
partially because I'm black,
partially because you're black. I want to talk about what happened in Charlottesville, the president's response, or the lack thereof, and we'll get to it coming up.